Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the Earth signs and their twin flame connection. Earth signs, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. This is a reading for twin flames in separation. If you are not sure whether you're in a twin flame dynamic, I ask you to please consult many of the videos on YouTube that go into it in great detail. But just as a quick reductive almost explanation, the idea of twin souls, twin flames, is one soul and two people. So one energetic soul shared by two bodies, and there are many twin flame connections that are incarnated in this lifetime. The purpose of twin flame connection is to raise the vibration of humanity through discovery of your divine gifts. There's always a runner and a chaser. It's crazy. This actually happened for another sign, and I shuffled this deck, and you're just gonna have to believe me, and Spirit knows. I shuffled this deck many times before I even turned on the camera, and the same exact thing happened with one of the other signs. Is when I was, I'm just getting ready to shuffle again, and Spirit is showing me this card out of this deck, which I haven't even introduced the deck yet, but it's the Mirror card. Who or what is triggering you? And that's precisely what the twin flame dynamic is all about. I'm going to put it back in the deck, but it's crazy that that happened twice. Twins, there's always a runner-chaser dynamic, and the chaser is usually the one who recognizes their twin flame first and wants to kind of give them unconditional love, and the runner in the dynamic gets really triggered by that. I was the chaser in my dynamic, so I kind of understand now what that's all about, but before I just had no idea why somebody would reject somebody who loved them so much. But when you start to dig deeper, our twins are meant to trigger us so that we spiritually ascend. There's always a separation period, and that separation period can be weeks, months, or years. Some would argue that the purpose of the twin flame connection is to eventually come into union, and that can absolutely happen. I would argue that the more important aspect of the twin flame connection is to spiritually ascend and to discover our spiritual gifts so that we can help humanity. I'm created these readings, these series of readings, to help other twin flames understand their dynamic, and to provide support, because other tarot readers provided support to me at a very difficult time. I'm not here to convince anybody. I've had a few comments that think that this is a bunch of crap, and you can keep those comments to yourself. That's fine if you think that. You don't have to watch. So, and even if you're not a twin flame and you're just here to watch a reading, there could be some message that's channeled for you. So I hope that you're doing well, Earth signs. I'm going to be using the Work Your Light Oracle deck for the overall energy. I'm going to pull one of these Universe Has Your Back cards, affirmation cards, at the end of the reading as kind of a advice from Spirit. I'm doing your tarot reading today with the beautiful Tarot of Mystical Moments. So Let's get the overall energy from the Work Your Light Oracle deck for Earth signs in their twin flame connection. You got 2. Yes, just say yes. This reminds me very much of the 3 of Cups card, where you see 3 figures kind of clinking their glasses together, although it's not glasses in this circumstance. There's light emanating from the hands. Energy. Just say yes. I don't know what that's about. I have to tell you, I just was opening a bottle just now, and I don't know how I hurt my wrist. So if you see me kind of pressing on my wrist, please try not to be distraught. I shouldn't have drawn attention to it, but it's interesting that it happened right before your reading. So some of you may be feeling some tendonitis or tennis elbow, something in your right arm. I don't know why that had to happen. I was fine all day, and then it just happened. And the other card is the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. A little bit darker scenario here, but it's kind of like walking through the Badlands is what I wanted to say. The Badlands is actually an area, I think, in the United States. I feel like it's in the Midwest. I'm not entirely sure. Walking through the Badlands. Some of you may be from the Midwest. I don't know why I said that. There's some snake energy over in this corner, almost kind of like this lightning here and the snake here. It's kind of, you see the goal, but everything could look a little dark and gloomy for you at this time, being in separation. But the words are the initiation, so you're already on your way to understanding, having a deeper understanding of yourself and the connection. Maybe some of you have already figured out what your spiritual gifts are, which is very exciting. If, you know, some of you are clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, if you can taste certain things or smell certain things come out, if it comes out of nowhere and you're feeling a presence around you, that's clairgustance. Clairgustance is the tasting one. Can't remember the smelling one. But your ears are starting to ring, you're starting to see synchronicities. This is all part of the ascension process and ascension symptoms. So I'm going to wait to pull the other card at the end from The Universe Has Your Back. Now I'm going to pull from Tarot of Mystical Moments. 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier. Doing twin flame readings a little bit differently today than I usually would. Past, present, and future regarding your connection. Whoa. Okay. 4 extra cards came out, and I'm going to show them all to you. Let's talk about these first. Queen of Pentacles. Very beautiful earth energy, isn't it? Queen of Pentacles is somebody who radiates not only outer beauty, but inner beauty. There's a sense of poise about you. People could be telling you that, oh, earth sign, you seem to have everything figured out. You seem to have it all figured out. So stable. It's interesting. I'm really drawn to the fact that she's kind of, it's almost like she's emerging out of the woods, out of the brush. There's something to it, right? Because now I hear the siren. If you've been watching me for a second. Anytime the sirens come by, it's just like emergency, emergency. Because I was like, okay, this seems like a straightforward card, but there's something else to it. Spirit wanted me to look at it a little bit more deeply. There's there are little hares, little bunnies in the corner here, representing kind of creativity and fertility. These could all be describing you at this time, where you are feeling like you're standing in your power, that whatever this twin flame connection has put you through, it, you haven't let it deter you from trying to, I almost heard, fight for your peace, even when the two of you are in separation. So let's talk about this. Queen of Pentacles to the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, you can see here, this character standing alone, but it's almost like, usually the Pentacles card talks about a juggling, a multitasking. You're all the plates are in the air and you're maintaining it. But eventually this gets tiresome. Doesn't it get tiresome to have to keep juggling everything? Eventually we just figure out, we need to either delegate, put something down, let go of a project, let go of a person. Sometimes it feels like there aren't enough hours in the day. And I feel as though while you have it all going on the outside, there's this kind of internal, like being pulled in a lot of different directions. There's somebody jogging very robustly outside of my window. It's almost, and that made me think of, there's a sense of achievement or overachievement, like I am not clearly a jogger, but people that do kind of actively exercise, and there's a sense of discipline, and so that might be describing you right now, that you're multitasking a lot, and that includes your health. So there's in the separation period, I don't think that you've wasted any time taking care of yourself. This is not the message that the other signs got. Which is not to say that they are not taking care of themselves, but for you, I feel as though the connection, sometimes it haunts you, but you don't let it stop you. I don't feel anything paralyzing here. In fact, I feel like there's a sense of, this is the Five of Wands, there's a sense of internal conflict, and yet you're being strategic about the way that you're playing the game. Like you could have done a lot of inquiry or research on what twin flames are and what that means for you, and why you're in separation from your twin, because we all have a reason. There's always a reason, right? Like no matter how much we love our twin, hate our twin, or whatever, there's always a catalyst, that trigger, that kind of, that jumping off point where one of or both people said, okay, this is not working right now. So I feel as though it's like you're moving a lot of parts around, you're moving a lot of things, you're juggling a lot. But see, it's funny because in this image, it's almost like I just see you, in a game of chess. The point is to overtake your opponent. But I actually don't see you trying to overtake your twin. That's good, because our twin is us. Our twin, we share that same soul. So I'm reading this card a little bit differently. Usually the Five of Wands talks about chaos and conflict. It's almost as if I see you moving pieces around the board, but not with the intention of overtaking or winning over your twin. It's almost like a stalling tactic. I'm not even entirely sure what that means. I think it means like you're not giving your twin any kind of hard and fast ultimatums. You're not slamming the door shut in their face, nor are you promising anything. I do see the Two of Cups here. This is all bottom, sorry, not the bottom of the deck, but the extra cards that came out at the end. I haven't even gotten to your base spread at this time, but Two of Cups in the reverse. Two of Cups talks about divine partnership. And especially in this card, this really reminds me of twin flames, right? Because it's one entity stemming from one into two, coming from the same source, that same lineage, that celestial lineage, energetic lineage. Two of Cups can also talk about the connection between you and your soul in the 5D. Right? Which is where your twin resides with you. This card is in reverse, so it does show that separation. I feel like you might have lost sleep over this before, but you're not losing sleep over it right now. That's good. In the past energy, you got the Hanged Man in reverse. This is the card in reverse. This is the card in the upright. I always like to point out, one, the denseness of the foliage in this card, and two, the fact that there's this kind of zipper here that's kind of unleashing. It's almost like the denseness wants to break free, and we want to be in kind of open sky energy to see what's going on underneath the surface. You got this card in the reverse. The Hanged Man is major arcana. It's Virgo energy. So Virgo, you showed up in your own reading. This card talks about making sacrifices, understanding that we may be too close to a situation, and so therefore we have to pull ourselves back to get a fresh perspective on things. That being too close to the situation actually hinders progress. It hindered your progress. So you took some time out, and I think there was just a lot of contemplation. There was a lot of quiet contemplation, a lot of quiet meditation about the role that you wanted to play in this dynamic. Now, it's always important to remember that we don't have to be with our twin. There's nothing that says we have to be with our twin in this lifetime. You have free will, and you can choose to be in a connection with the soulmate. And how wonderful would that be? It would be easier in a way to choose a soulmate rather than to choose your twin. But being with your twin, if you've been in a connection with your twin in any sort of way, then you know that there's a kind of magic and electricity, right? That you have with your twin that is like nothing and no one else. I just heard, but you know, you play with fire, you get burned, right? And that could be one aspect of how you look at your connection. But I think you're coming out of that place of contemplation, like you've kind of made some decisions about what you think about this connection. Nine of Cups in the reverse. Nine of Cups talks about wish fulfillment. Wish fulfillment and being content. This card is in the reverse in the past position. You're not happy with the status quo. You know that you're meant for more. This could have to do with your spiritual gifts, as well as, you know, separately from Your twin triggers the spiritual awakening, but you yourself trigger your spiritual gifts, because you're the one that has to take that journey in this lifetime, not your twin. Your twin has to take their own spiritual path, but you're on this path. You know, energetically they're always with you, but in the everyday, the day-to-day, the place where earth signs reside most heavily, as opposed to air signs where they reside in the thoughts realm, or water signs reside in the emotions. Earth signs reside in the here, the now, the everyday, the moving, the shaking, the making it happen. Even though you could be dissatisfied with what you've been presented thus far, I feel like this weird kind of determination to explore your gifts and to see how far they can take you. King of Wands in the reverse. It's not without, it's, you play with fire, you get burned. Didn't I just say that? King of Wands in the upright is somebody who can see, marches to the beat of their own drum, but very confident. It can attach Leo energy to this, sometimes Aries. Somebody who is, your twin could be a fire sign as well. Somebody who is really determined, sitting in the seat of their power, has a lot of motivation, a lot of drive, perhaps a lot of sexuality as well, a lot of charisma. But the card in reverse, in the past position, shows me that there's somebody here that is feeling very frustrated by the fact that maybe they have no fuel to the fire. There's nothing that's running that engine. This is in the past energy. That something could have fallen short. Some goal. You know, maybe it could have been the goal of being together, or being in a higher level commitment of, you know, marriage, I just heard for some. And it wasn't the right time. I'm going to ask for one more clarifier from the past for the King of Wands in reverse. Okay, thank you, Spirit. The Moon, Pisces energy, the Major Arcana, number 18. It's such an interesting moon card because I always reference this as like the Kraken, this great octopus. The octopus has a great deal of intelligence. It still amazes people how smart, how resourceful an octopus can be. But it's coming from the depths here. The Moon card talks about secrets. This card came out in the upright in the past position for you. You can see how she's not facing us. She's looking at the moon, almost as if a little bit distracted. Maybe not looking at something clearly, or only seeing it in shadow. Seeing it for its shadow is what I just heard. So if you could have, if you had a falling out with your twin, it's hard not to constantly replay those moments in your mind, right? Constantly go back. I could have done something different. I could have said something different. They could have said something different. If you want to return to your twin and you want them to return to you, to be in the same frequency, then it's really important. And I'm not saying that I've mastered this. I really am not saying that I've mastered this at all, and I've had many years at this point to think about it. You have to think of your twin in a positive light. It's not to say you have to gloss over anything that they did. It's not about that. But it's about manifestation like anything else. When you want to manifest something, then you have to be in a frequency that matches what it is you see in your mind's eye. So if you just see your whole life as a dumpster fire, then that's exactly what it's going to turn into. Because that's the lens that you're wearing when you interact with the world. Just like with your twin, if you constantly hearken back to, you know, times when they were being nebulous or secretive or confusing, and the times you got angry at all of that or frustrated, or they, for you, you know, your behavior was this way. So have to start changing our mindset about it. There's a tarot reader that I often reference. Her name is San Tarot. She's one of my absolute favorites of all time on YouTube. She's brilliant, and her gift, quite frankly, is unmatched. If I could have 1/10 of her ability to read tarot, I would be a very happy person. She always talks about the moon, though, in terms of people who look up at the moon from different parts of the world. It's almost like when the moon comes into the reading, somebody you may be missing is also missing you and looking up at that same moon. Ironically, San does not really subscribe to the twin flame dynamic, although she has delivered the messages that Spirit gives her to their fullest extent. And if they talk about a twin flame dynamic, she mentions it. And I understand the hesitation. There's been a lot of misinformation or propaganda about twin flames. And to that, I can only say that when you're in a twin flame connection, you know, and you don't have to explain it or prove it to anybody. Sometimes it's beyond words, but I also will tell you that twin flames know when they've met one another, like other twin flame dynamics, like when I'm out in the world and I talk to people about their relationship histories or whatever, just in conversation, and somebody brings up the one that they just cannot forget, start talking, I realize that this person is a twin flame. It's just like light workers. Light workers always find one another. It's like we have this invisible beacon that's emitting the signal, right? So in the present energy, you got the King of Cups, clarified by the Chariot card. Number 7 in the major arcana, representing Cancer energy. So far I have Pisces and Cancer. So your twin could be, have water in their chart, heavy water in their chart. This could also be you as well. I feel like it's more like your twin, though. King of Cups is Scorpio energy, and it talks about somebody who is very, and look, you can see that kind of octopus kraken energy, although this time it's not coming from like root energy, it's coming from crown energy that feels relevant somehow. Almost as if in the past this intelligence was kind of bubbling up in the root chakra, much like the Kundalini, right? You ever heard about the chakras and Kundalini awakening? That happens to a lot of twins. That's part of the ascension process, right? All of our chakra centers, our energy centers kind of blast open, and energy is allowed to flow freely. And so if this is part of the past energy, it's almost like I see this elevation of your spiritual intelligence, and now it's coming out of the crown. And I feel as though there's some transmissions that Spirit has been giving to you that you've been seeing in synchronicities and signs, right? That things are allowed to flow through, flow freely. Her dress is kind of like a mountain, and yet there's now a place for things to flow and move. King of Cups talks about somebody who has a maturity about their emotions, that they can access their emotions, that they're not shut off. And with the Chariot card, things may have been slow going, right? We see the slug or the snail here, but it has wheels now. So there's a lot of fast, victorious movement for you. And I kind of was, you know, I was picking up on that before because, one, because of the initiation, two, because of the yes, which means go, go, go. But also, you know, when I pulled out that Queen of Pentacles, it was kind of like Spirit saying to you that, like, no, you're exactly where you need to be in terms of your progress, just as a human. You are moving and shaking and making things happen for yourself. And while the twin flame dynamic is very important and has contributed to much of your sense of purpose in the world, you're not letting the separation stop you. It haunts you sometimes, for sure. And this is not an easy, this just feels so, like, ominous, to be honest. But there is kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just going to pull one clarifier for the present energy with that King of Cups and the Chariot card. The Sun in reverse. Sun is the best card in the deck. Even in reverse, it's quite beautiful. But when the Sun is in the upright, it's absolute life-giving energy, abundance, clarity, illumination. When it's in reverse, it's like a precipice. The sun is just underneath the horizon. It hasn't really cast its light across the land, but it wants to, right? It's so beautiful that this card came in for you, that this is what you're trying to, it's almost like you're trying to shine your inner light onto this landscape that is before you, which at times, this twin flame dynamic, it can seem really bleak. It can feel so perilous and like agonizing, to be honest. And yet there's some inner resolve in you that's just like the sun wants to kind of peek up over the horizon and show itself. And I feel as though you're getting there, but in your own manner, or in the manner that is afforded to you at this time. King of Swords, Gemini energy, also attributed to Aquarius. I just want to point out, right? So this is present energy in the reverse. This is future energy. We're on future energy now. And look at that bird over the eye. Right? That's why I link these two energies together, that this is what you're going through at this time. And in the future energy, you will enjoy a certain level of success. The King of... Thank you, Spirit. You are going to enjoy success, but it's going to look a little differently than what you thought. This is going to be a kind of more 3D success, where maybe you are going to school, going back to school, you're getting certifications, you're getting, you're taking classes, you're receiving a promotion, something where you are in a position of power and authority. You're the authority on something. And with that new role, there could be some coldness here, right? This is not the same energy, not the same, but you're kind of using what you can to make the best out of your situation, and looking really mesmerizing while doing it. But it is clarified by the King of Wands. Again, in this deck, there's a divine masculine and a divine feminine version of some of the cards, which I've kept in the deck. Now I see this as two halves of the same whole, right? So I see this, one of these people is you, one of these is your twin, right? Because our twin success is our success, and vice versa. We want our twin to be happy. It sounds weird, even if it's with somebody else, which was almost hard for me to say. But then it means, because if they're happy, then we'll be happy, right? That's at the base of it. At the base of it. If your twin is the other side of your soul, don't you want your soul to be prosperous? Of course you do. But right now, the both of you could be feeling really, really frustrated with one another. It's almost like there's this pent-up energy and it has nowhere to go. And so there may be a little bit of coldness in your future energy, but hey, you're making it work. You're doing the best you can. So I like to say that if we're cognizant, if we're conscious, and we make conscious decisions, then we're making the best decisions we know how to make in the moment that we're making them. That's all we can do. Acting with integrity. King of Swords acts with integrity. One clarifier, Four of Swords in the reverse. Kind of, it's a time to wake up. It's like we're not in slumber anymore. We're not in a state of rest. We're moving, we're shaking, we're making things happen. Right? The initiation and the yes. Spirit is saying, keep going. Drive forward. Yes, if there's a hesitation, the answer is yes. Go, go, go. Don't pay any mind to the shadows or the snakes on the side. Like, it's almost like, if you want this to be an illusion, it will be an illusion. You create your reality. So that's your reading, Earth signs. I'm going to get one card from the universe, has your back. When I lean toward love, I am led. When I lean toward love, I am led. And Spirit's showing you the way out, the way forward, the way to prosperity. It's almost like beyond this point, all signs say yes. That's your reading, twins. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Earth signs.